Hello YouTube and welcome to another Linux tutorial. So in this video I'm going to show you how to set up a firewall with UFW on Linux. So are you ready? Let's get started. So as you may know, the first step to secure actually your Linux system is to set up a firewall. So a lot of Linux users use actually iptables in order to do that, but iptables is a little bit difficult to set up, so that's why we are going actually to use UFW in order to set up a firewall. So actually UFW stands for Uncomplicated Firewall. Okay, so as its name suggested, it's not difficult to set up. So first of all, let me see that if it installed or not. So here I'm using Kali Linux, but you can install it in whatever distribution that you want using your favorite packet manager. So here, as you can see, UFW is not found, so it offers me to install it. So I'm gonna answer yes in order to actually install the package. Okay. So as you can see now, it's been actually installed using the apt package manager. Okay, so now I guess it's installed. Let's verify the version now. So as you can see here, I'm using version 0.36.1. okay, so we're gonna start configuring this actually firewall. So here by default it supports IPv6. You can verify that if you take a look with your favorite editor in a file located in etc directory default UFW. Okay, so if I open this file, so actually the first command here that you can see, it's uncommented, which is IPv6 equal to yes. So which means that actually UFW supports IPv6. So for example, for any reason that you want to disable that, you just replace this yes by no, and of course you have to restart the service. Okay, so actually the first step in order to set up actually this firewall is to see if it's enables or disable. So by default, let's see the status with the use of the command UFW status. Here we go. So here you can see the status is inactive, okay, or disabled. So you have to enable actually the firewall. So in order to actually enable it, it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. UFW enable. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see now, the firewall is active and enabled on system startup. So let's run once again UFW status, and now it's active. So here I have to say that all command must be executed with root privileges. So that's why I'm using here root in order to avoid the sudo command. Okay. So now that our firewall is actually active, we can start up but actually set in the default policy. So in most of the firewalls, either hardware firewalls or software firewalls, the default policy actually deny incoming packets and allow outgoing packets. So that's what we are going to do now. So the default policy will be actually to deny incoming packets. So we configure that using the command UFW. Okay, default, to set up the default policy. So as I told you, I have to deny all incoming packets. So this is the command. Here we go. So you can see here the default incoming policy changed to deny. Okay, and we'll do the same for outgoing, but this time we must allow anyone inside actually network to go to the outside, because actually the inside is trusted and outside is untrusted. That's why in most of the default actually policy for the different firewalls we set up this default policy here. So here we have to allow outgoing. Okay, here we go. So now we have actually allowed outgoing packets from our system. Okay, but here I have to note something. So even we have denied incoming packets, if I go open another actually terminal here, so let's open my Windows terminal and let me try to ping the IP address of my actually Linux here, which is in this case it's .19 as you can see here. So let's try to ping this address and see what we get. So it was 192.168.1.19. So you can see I still ping actually this IP address. So how come I have denied actually here the incoming packets? So with this command default deny incoming, and we still get some echo actually replays. Okay, so here actually it's due to another configuration file that comes with UFW. So I will show you. So let's open it. It's located actually in the directory etc UFW. Okay, and the name is before .rules. So if you open this file here, you can see here some other commands which are related to the ping. So here you can see OK SAMP code for input. So here the command responsible for allowing SAMP protocol, which is responsible for the echo requests here, and here you can see it accepting these packets. So that's why we are allowing pings actually to our server. So if I comment this line here, here we go, and I'm gonna save the file, and of course I have to restart the firewall to take effect. So systemctl restart our firewall. So before restarting, let's confirm that we still can ping. Here we go, we still can ping. So now let's restart our service here. Here we go, it's restarted. So let's now try to ping. We still can ping. So let me verify once again the other file here and make sure that I have commented this line. So actually here I guess I have to comment all these lines with the before or actually after the OK SAMP codes. So let's comment them. Here we go, let's save the file and let's restart our server, or actually our firewall. And here we go, now let's try to ping. So you can see now I cannot ping anymore. So make sure of that. Even if you deny access to the actually the incoming packets, we still can ping if we didn't make any change to the file, this file here actually before rules. Okay, so that's the point. Now let's move on. So now that we have set up our default policy, let's allow, for example, a very common service that allows you to get remote access to your system, which is SSH. So in order to allow SSH, it's pretty simple. You have to type the command UFW allow SSH, as easy as that. And you can also verify that you're using the command UFW status verbose. Here we go. Here you can see the different rules that are actually set up in the firewall and action. So here allow incoming packets from anywhere. Okay, so make sure to run this command status verbose whenever you make any changes to the firewall. So let's move on. Actually you can also allow access, for example, to all port from specific IP address. So let's say that you have actually a remote machine and you want to allow the access to this remote IP machine from any ports. So we can do that easily if we trust a machine using the command UFW always allow. Okay, actually from, and here you have to specify the IP address. So here I will give the IP address of my desktop, which is 192.168.1, for example, .15. So let's verify the rule, and here we go. So you can see here that from this address here we are allowing any ports to connect to our server. Okay, and you can also specify a specific port. So if you want to allow from a specific IP address to a specific port, you can do that using the same command, but here you have to add to any port and you specify the port. So if you want, for example, to allow just port 22 for this IP address, you can specify it here. Okay, for example, I want just to allow SSH from this IP address, which is .1.15. I can do this command, and also we verify that, so you can see it's allowing to the port 22. Okay, and we can do the same actually with the deny. If you want to deny access to a specific address, we can just replace here the allow but the deny keywords. Okay, here we go. Let's deny, for example, access to SSH. Here we go, and UFW, and you can always verify that using the command UFW status. Okay, here we go. So you can see here the different deny and allow from this IP address. And if you want to remove a rule, it's always also simple. So first of all, we have to execute a command to allow us to facilitate the task, which is UFW status numbered. Okay, here we go. So this command actually will give each line in our rules a number. So here you can see that we have 4 rules, and in order this time to remove a rule, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is to type UFW delete and the rule number. For example, here you can see this 2 and 3 are a little bit confusing because we are denying access from any port, and now we deny others to 22. So let's just remove number 2. Here we go. We say yes, and we verify that. Here we go. You can see that the rule has disappeared, and now we only have 3 rules. Okay, so always keep that in your mind. Always check the rules if you made a mistake or something with UFW status verbose command. Okay, and finally, let's try to see the logs, because as you may know, as administrator, you should always take a look at your logs to see how things are going. Okay, so the default actually directory for the logs is actually located in /var/log, and here you can see, if I do an ls, you can see a couple of logs. but as you can see here, those logs, there is no sign of UFW. Okay, and you can also verify if login is enabled in your firewall using this command. So you can see here login is on, but it's on low because there are a lot of levels that you can set up. So here we can see that login is enabled because it's on, not off, but we still didn't have any log file in our /var/log. So actually this is due to the service rsyslog is not enabled. So let's verify the status of this service. Status rsyslog. So you can see that the rsyslog service is not found. This is what actually prevent the UFW logs from not being written to the directory /var/logs. Okay, so actually let's install this service here with apt install rsyslog. Here we go. So this service is actually required if you want to get logs for UFW. Okay, so let's check the status. So now it's active and running. So let's go back now to the directory where the logs are located, and here we go. You can see now that I have actually a file here, uf.log. So let's try to ping actually this machine here in order to generate some logs. Okay, so let's ping it once again. It's denying access because we've made changes to the before rules file. Okay, let's SSH into it. SSH amino and IP address, I guess it's .19, and we don't have any access because it's refused. That's normal. Okay, so now in order to view the logs, you can just use whatever editor you want, or you can use the less or more commands to view all the log files in UFW asterisk. Okay, here we go. So here you can see the different logs related to UFW. So we have pinged from specific address .15. So let's verify that to see if we have any IP address. We can actually filter that using the grep command. So I will use the grep command. I will specify the IP address from the machine from which I pinged the server. Here we go. So you can see indeed we have the source address, which is my desktop machine, and of course the destination was my Linux server. Okay, and here we have the different parameters or arguments for the packets. Okay, so always take a look at your logs, but they give you some valuable information in case of an attack or deny of service attacks. Okay, so of course you can filter by IP addresses. You can also filter using a protocol. For example, here we have used ping, so the protocol is ECMP, so you can filter on that protocol. Here we go. So you can see that indeed we have actually pinged this IP address. You can also filter by UFW state, it's blocking or allowing. So here I have to put it between quotes because it contains spaces. So if you want to see all the blocked states of packets, you can use this command block. So here you can see the different states of the UFW actions which actually are blocking packets. Okay, so as you can see, the UFW is pretty nice, pretty straightforward, pretty easy firewall to set up in Linux machine, and you can use it in your everyday life, and you can check also the logs, which gives you some valuable information. Okay, so that was just a brief introduction to this pretty easy, uncomplicated firewall called UFW. As always, I hope it has been informative for you, and I want to thank you for viewing. Bye bye.